What the administration can expect is quite a considerable necessity to adapt the structures, setting up agencies, setting up monitoring institutions, setting up water services at local, provincial and at national level, and so on. So the infrastructure for environment will have to adapt quite considerably. The Aarhus Convention plays a very considerable role. It was an instrument which was a predecessor to European legislation on access to documents, access to information in general. It has found its entry into the Lisbon treaties, where not less than 5 times they talk of an open, transparent administration and society. And more it becomes obvious that all administrations at European level and at the level of the member states need to follow these principles in environmental law, but also beyond environmental law, because it's citizens' rights which are in question. It is vital. The environment has no voice. It cannot express its concerns. Think of agricultural law on policy. This is for farmers. So farmers voice their concerns via associations, via lobbying in parliament, via parliamentary deputies. Fisheries law is the law for fishermen. Competition law for competitors. There's always a social group behind a sector of law. In environment law, you do not have that, and therefore the biggest transparency possible is required to take decisions which harm the least the environment, while taking appropriate care of other interests. I would believe the Scandinavian countries are models in this regard. You know that there is this slight concern that with the welfare state there's too much patronizing from the public authorities. But with regard to transparency, this is indeed a model. Sweden goes so far as to say that all salaries of everybody shall be public and transparent, so that people know what other people earn. And this sounds even a shock as to Central European countries, but that's how far they go in their concern for playing an open society where common concerns are discussed in common. I would believe that, again, the Scandinavian countries, but also the Netherlands, are very largely a model. Take the case, I transfer that to Bosnia and Herzegovina, that there be an industrial plant built up in the Tara region. In the Netherlands, when it's in the south of the Netherlands that the project is planned, all people from the Netherlands may participate in the administrative procedure and say, well, you shouldn't do this, you should rather do this, and so on and so on. This is quite open, because this is a common concern, the environment. The trends go into the direction of allowing larger participation of NGOs and non-governmental organizations and citizens to go to court. The European Court of Justice has interpreted the Aarhus Convention by stating that member states' courts shall do the utmost with regard to procedural requirements and so on to allow an effective access to the courts. This means that already a number of member states' courts have started to become more liberal, more accessible for environmental organizations. I take one example, which is just pending before the court. Air pollution in urban agglomerations, it's a big problem due to transport emissions in almost all capitals. And the European Commission says there are some 450,000 people who die prematurely every year due to air pollution. Now, British citizens have brought the UK government to the European Court by saying you do not do enough to protect the citizen. This is a trend which exists in all countries. It goes for the problems which affect citizens. After all, environment protection is not something in theory. This is something which is influencing our daily life. So the trends of improving access to the courts is everywhere in the European Union.